Hi grandbabies, it's Grandma Little and I'm going to read you a new book. And this one is called Larry Gets Lost in Seattle. I liked it because I live near Seattle where your great-grandma Dolly lives and because it has Larry in it and that's your Grandpa Larry. So I'm going to read this beautiful book to my two grandbabies, Lana and Julia. And I hope you like it. Larry Gets Lost in Seattle, illustrated by John Skewes, written by John Skewes and Robert Schwartz. Gotta get to the right page. What's the first page? It won't turn the page for me. Oh, here we are. Larry, this is Larry and this is Pete. They ride together in the back seat. See? Larry and Pete. They ride together in the back seat. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. What's next? Because their car wouldn't float, they drove their car onto the boat. See that? They're going on the boat. That's called a ferry. Washington State ferries. The ferry boats take thousands of passengers in their cars and buses and bikes across the water every day. See, that's the Washington State ferry right here. There's lots of them that go around all around the water in Seattle and the area. Mom and Dad, Pete and Larry, crossed the water on a ferry. Soon a city was very near. The ferry boat docked beside the pier. See that? There's the ferry. There's the city. Seattle. The Smith Tower used to be the tallest building in Seattle. Now look at it now. That's the Smith Building right here. It's not as tall as all the other buildings look. Pioneer Square was their very first stop, a real fun place to eat and shop. Pioneer Square, these are the Seattle's oldest buildings, built over 100 years ago. There's Larry and Pete over here, walked into Pioneer Square, and that's a 100-year-old building. Just then, Larry saw a tree. He quickly bounded up the street, but after running several feet, he realized he had lost Pete. Uh-oh. I think Larry is the dog, and Pete is the boy. And Larry just got lost in Seattle. It's not good. He searched Seattle's underground, but the friend he searched for was not around. He asked a giant if he'd seen Pete that day, but the giant said nothing and he just hammered away. See, here is the underground. The underground, you can still see parts of old Seattle underneath Pioneer Square, including the city's oldest toilet. And this is the Seattle Art Museum, where they have the giant working. The hammering man stands 48 feet tall and he hammers from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day except for Labor Day. See that? That's called the hammering man. He's at the museum. He ran past the stadium where the football team meets to the baseball field right across the street. This right here is Quest Field. That is where Seattle Seahawks and the Seattle Mariners play. And on a sunny day, the roof at Safeco Field opens up to let the sunshine in. So Seattle Seahawks play at Quest Field and the Mariners play at Safeco Field. Isn't that interesting? They're right near each other in Seattle. Ooh, this is my favorite in Seattle. It's called Public Market Center. So he saw some salmon passing by, not in the water, but in the sky. Pike's Market was built as a place for farmers and fishermen to sell their goods, and now you can buy almost anything there. This is their public market, and they have all kinds of food there. Kind of fun stuff. You can see the fish. They're tossing them through the... See them tossing them to the ladies? Look at them toss all the fish. That's what they do at Pike's Market, at Farmer's Market. Pike's Place. Over his head, a silver train raced toward a saucer that seemed to be from outer space. The Space Needle restaurant is at the top of the Space Needle, which slowly spins around and around. Even strangers, the bright-colored building next door, looked just like a pile of clothing on the floor. This is the EMP, the EMP. It's where you can learn about music or make your own. So here's the Space Needle. See the Space Needle? And that part at the top goes around and around really slowly. If you're in it in the restaurant, you can see for a lot, and you can see all around, and you can eat while you're in there. And this is a place called EMP. You can go and see music and stuff. Not finding his friend was troubling Larry. In fact, things around him were getting quite scary. The Fremont Troll, he lives under a real bridge, and he's holding a real car. They've got a troll under the bridge? That's kind of scary. He saw some people waiting by the street, but something told him he couldn't help. They couldn't help him find Pete. This is a sculpture. It's called Waiting for the Interurban. These statues have been waiting for the bus since 1979. People like to dress them up in different clothes. So they're statues that people dress up. They put clothes on them. It's kind of fun. Larry then ran through a strange little town built on the water instead of on the ground. Then a big fat creature blocked Larry's way. Nothing Larry did could make him go away. This is called Lake Union houseboats. Be careful, Larry. That's a sea lion. They like to visit Lake Washington to eat fish. Look at this. It's called Lake Union houseboats. And they have boats. And look, there's a guy in a boat here. But these houses are also boats. They're floating on the water. And there's a little sea lion that Larry found. And look. Do you see that Pete has been in just about every picture? He's in there. I'm wondering why Larry doesn't see him. With a running start, Larry leapt, landing on a boat where a sea captain slept. Uh-oh. Look at him go. He landed right on the sea captain's lap. And here's Pete trying to chase him down. He's like, Larry, don't jump. Wait for me. The captain laughed and picked Larry up. Is that your owner, you lost pup? Larry was so excited, he and Pete were reunited. The captain called Pete's dad on the phone. Don't worry, Larry, you'll soon be home. There we go. Boy, it sounds like Larry and Pete were both lost in Seattle. They passed through the gate, and a moment later, the water dropped like an elevator. This is called the Ballard Locks. The locks are a big gate that allow boats to go from the lake in Washington to the ocean without letting all the water out. So they have it, they kind of lock it, and they lower the water, the boats down so that they can get into the ocean. Isn't that cool? Larry's family was soon within reach. They agreed to meet at Alkay's Beach. This is Larry's last stop to Seattle, but it's the first place Seattle settlers landed and met Chief Seattle over 150 years ago at Alkay Beach. That's the beach right there. That is the end. Aren't you glad that Larry found his friend Pete and they were able to get back with their parents and go home? That Seattle's got a lot of little places that you can go and visit. I like that book. How about you guys? Well, Julia and Lana, I love you and have a good day. Bye-bye.